Welcome to Tomo's Piano. This is the day 3 of Learn to Play Piano in 8 Days series. After this lesson, you'll be able to read and play simple music like this. So today's about reading the music, and today is the pitch part. Number 1 is treble, clef, and bass clef. Number 2, lines and spaces. And number 3, finally, after yesterday's lesson and today's lesson, we'll be reading the music as a whole. So after today's lesson, technically you will be able to read the music. I'm going to talk about the treble clef and the bass clef. When you see a classical music score, for the piano score, you will see the top part, this is where the right hand plays, and the bottom part, this is where the left hand plays. And the treble clef is this sign right here. It usually indicates where the right hand should play. 90% of the time, treble clef is for the right hand. And here's the bass clef. It looks kind of unusual on this one because it's an old score. But this is the one for the left hand. The easiest way, I think, for you to comprehend is to show it on the piano. Let's say this is the music and here's the treble clef. It corresponds to the piano's keys when you look at the piano from the left side. We're looking at the keyboard from the left side. Now if I place this right here, this bottom line of the 5 lines corresponds to E. You see those red lines? They correspond to each other. So the E, and this is G, and this is B, and D, and F. So when you look at the music, it looks hard, but basically piano looked from the left side. And when you look at the C, there's no more lines because there's only 5 lines here. So the C is written right here, and it has its own line just going through the dot. So whenever you see a note with the lines below the treble clef lines, you can immediately locate this is the C. In fact, this is the middle C. If you look at the keyboard, this is the middle, and this is the middle C. So you can tell. The same thing goes to the bass line. So you call this the bass line. And now it corresponds to these notes over here. So it goes from G, B, D, F, and A. Basically, with the treble clef and the bass clef, you are only covering these section of the piano. So the music scores mainly based on these sections of the piano. And this bass clef, there is no space for C. So whenever there's a C, you can see the line across it because it's above this B space. And there's a line across, then you can immediately tell this indicates the middle C. So the treble clef and the bass clef, where the red is, this is where usually the right hand goes. And where there are blue lines, this is the part the left hand plays. And each note has a designated either space or lines to it. So to understand those better, I wrote a chart. So I want you to look at this chart. So when you read the notes, you can count from the bottom. So there was a C with a line over here, and then you can see E, F, G, A, B, C, and you can go up. But that could be cumbersome. So there is a system that you can remember easily. For example, for the treble clef, these lines from the bottom, those 5 lines, you can remember as every good boy does fine. So this is E, G, B, D, F. So whenever you see a note right on the bottom one, you're like oh, that's E. When it's here, it's like every good boy. Also, that's B. So that's kind of faster to know which note it is. By the way, I'm explaining to you with this American way of the alphabet learning of the notes. Because all the jazz music and everything, all the chords are in alphabets. Even though I learned my original piano lesson in solfege, which is do, re, mi. But when you play jazz music, unfortunately, they don't use do, re, mi, they use ABC. So this comes in good use when you learn everything in ABC. So now we go on to the spaces of the treble clef. So when you see treble clef, when you see spaces, there's an easy way to locate and know which notes are. Because spaces from the bottom indicates face, F-A-C-E. So when you see a dot on the lowest space right here, you're like, oh, face, so it's F. And then when it's on the top over here, it's the E, like F-A-C-E, E. And it's the faster way to locate the note and know which note it is. We're gonna go on to the bass clef. This is for the left hand, and you can always tell what is the bass clef because it has this funky sign right here with the two dots, like a half of the heart. So this bass clef, these lines have a different phrase for it. Good baked desserts for all. Well, it's not as fun as Every Good Boy Does Fine, but G, B, D, F, A. So when you see the first dot right here, it's G, good, baked dessert. And when you see at the top, it's the all, so it's A. So those are for the lines. And to remember the spaces for the bass clef, again, it's for the left hand, it's all cows eat grass. So A, C, E, G. All cows eat grass. So that's how you know immediately what note you are looking at. And so now that we talked about the treble clef and bass clef, and we did talk about the line and spaces in between. The point here is to remember the names on the notes and be able to immediately locate on the piano. So the faster you can do it, the easier you can read and play the piano. Let's say Every Good Boy Does Fine. Where's E? This is the reason why I wanted you to remember where the middle C is. So the middle C is at the bottom with the line with the treble clef score. Or middle C could be at the top right here on the bass clef score. So when you see, let's say the treble clef, right? Every Good Boy's E is the first line. And first you locate the middle C and go 2 up. So first you locate the middle C of the piano and then you go 2 up. So that's the Every Good Boy Does Fine is actually 1 space apart from each note. So Every Good Boy Does Fine. So each 5 lines are 1 keys apart. The next one, the face, F-A-C-E, those spaces are in between those. So this is how you can remember. And for the bass clef, good baked dessert for all. So actually, good is at the bottom, baked dessert for all. But let's say good, and where's the G? It's the G right here. So you kind of have to remember, bass clef is always harder for a lot of people because everything is based on treble clef. Also remember that middle C is always at the top. So if you get lost, you always go to the top, middle C, and go down. The lines are A, F, D, B, G. Good baked dessert for all. So those are 1 keys apart of each. The spaces are all cows eat grass. So as you notice, I actually put tape and wrote all the letters to locate them easily. But once you get used to this, then of course you will take out those tapes because you ultimately you want to be able to just see the music and just know where it is. So remember the middle C, count up or down. But it's going to take a while for you to just process this, but be patient. I have some exercise for you for today with the homework, but be patient, okay? One of the easy way to remember when you read music is when the notes go up, either treble clef or bass clef, when the notes go up, it's going to the right side of the piano. Because remember, it's a representation of the piano from the left side. So up means up that way. Remember the piano, the right side higher note is the up and lower note was down. So when this is going up, it's going up. And when the notes are going down, that means you're going down the scale. Down meaning left side of the piano. So this one, that's how this works. That's one of the easy way to remember. So today, the homework is remember the notes, lines, and spaces. Remember yesterday's homework songs that you were doing the beat exercise. Now, I wrote that with the note right here. So I have Twinkle, Twinkle, Happy Birthday, and Mary Had a Little Lamb. But this time, it's with the note. So you will be writing the notes. Let's say these are C's because they have their own little lines. And these are G. At first, you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's G. And C, G, and you'll be writing all the way to the end. The same thing with the Happy Birthday. I wrote the first 2 notes, and you can finish writing the rest of the song And the third one, Mary Had a Little Lamb. I wrote the first 4 notes. So you'll be writing everything, the rest of it. So that's the second homework. You probably guessed what the third homework would be, to test you that you can actually read music after today and yesterday's lesson. After you write all the notes, you will play it on the piano. Now you know the beat, you know how to read the notes. Let's say you're gonna be doing the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. What you do is write those notes and then you will go over the clapping exercise. So it's Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. So you know it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now you locate those notes on the key and you try and see if it sounds correct to you, whatever you wrote. Just so that you can review this afterwards, I'm gonna play the Twinkle Twinkle as I wrote here so you can see if you did it right. 1, 2, 3, 4. The next one is Happy Birthday, and when you play it, it sounds like this. 1, 2. And the third one, Mary Had a Little Lamb. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's the exercise. For now, don't worry about the finger numbers. Just try to locate the keys. That's the most important thing. Just one more thing. So when you look at these score sheets, you will notice some of them look kind of weird. There's a tail at the bottom. So there's a rule to this. When you see notes on these 5 lines, when the notes are above the middle line, the tail comes down instead of going up. So that's something like a minor information, but keep on practicing and I will see you tomorrow at 8 p.m.